I would put it together because I've been posting a little bit around finishing healing and beginning creating. And I have been a healer on the personal healer path for over a decade. I have spent a lot of time healing myself because trust me, I come from the most craziest family in the world. I think by the time I finished school, I went to 13 different schools, right? I changed school like every 6 months, every year. I think one year I went to three different schools when I was eight, just because we moved around a lot. I had a very turmoily kind of family. I think I counted, I lived in eight different family scenarios. I had both my parents remarried three times each. So there was like different families and different people and different things going on all the time in my world and in my life. And by the time I left school, right, I was traumatized. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what was real. I didn't know who to believe, who to trust, because the amount of characters that can create that amount of turmoil, you know, eight different schools, changing homes, different families, moving about. There got to be certain types of people, right, to create that. There was a lot of war, there was a lot of court cases, there was a lot of drama, there was a lot of fights, there was a lot of interesting things that happened in my childhood. Very interesting characters that created these interesting things that happened in my life. And there are many stories I could tell you, but we won't go into all of that. But let me put it in a very in perspective for you. I remember when I was 18, I took was it 18, maybe 20, 19, something like that. I took ecstasy for the first time. Had a great night, and I came down and I was crying and crying and crying. And I ended up telling my best friends my whole life story as part, and it was such a good release. I didn't cry for years. Like literally, I didn't cry since I was like 12 until I was like 20 because I got so hardened by life. Just chose not to feel, right? Because I got numb. And I remember coming down and crying and telling him my whole life story. And he turned to me and said, "Oh my God, it sounds like a horror movie," right? So that just puts things into perspective of my journey of my past. Now, I'm saying this because I know that there are a lot of people that have lived in traumatic, abusive situations. I know there are a lot of people that have had parents that have been mentally disabled, or if there's been addictions, or there's been divorce, or there's been uh, generational trauma that's come through, or there's been illness or sickness, or there's been even just jealousy between mom and daughter, between stepbrothers and stepsisters. I mean, I know a lot of us have grown up in poverty, where there hasn't been much abundance. And I did too, right? I grew up on social welfare. I was working since I was 14. I had one school shirt, so I know what it's like to come home and there's no food in the house, right? I know that. And I'm sharing this with you because I know there are a lot of you out there that have had these experiences. Some of us have had many extreme experiences. Some of us have had little experiences. Some of us have had normal lives, right, from the outside, but it's been cold. We haven't gotten the love, we haven't got the attention, the encouragement that we deserve. And we all have a different story of where we've come from. And we all have a different story of what we need to heal. And I'm sharing this so that you don't feel so that you realize that yes, we are all part of the one nation of people, humans that have a lot to heal, right? And I believe from the 80s, 90s, the 2000s, there was a very big healing movement where we went in to heal. Psychologists became important. We went back to the past to heal. We went back to recognize, the parents that created the traumas or the blocks or the limitations inside of us. We went back to work all that stuff out so that we could work ourselves out. And this is very important to recognize because we have been in a healing institution for a very long time where we go back to the past to heal in order to work ourselves out. And it's important for two reasons, but it also becomes a point where it becomes obsolete. And this is what I want to discuss with you today. And I'd love to know if you want to share in the chat where you've come from, what you've healed, what you've journeyed through, because I think the more of us that can share our journey, the better. So please feel to write in the chat where you're from in the world, or what you've been working through or healing through, or what those, we keep coming back to the same issue, right? The abandonment or the self-worth, or that story. Anyway, getting back to the point. So please write in the chat. I'd love to know where you're at as well. Yes, we need to go back to the past to heal, because sometimes that's the only way where we can discover why things have happened in our lives, or understand why we've done certain things in our lives, or why we've reacted in certain ways, or why we have certain triggers. Sometimes we have to go back to our past to, forgive those people that have done us wrong, right? Because many of us can live in the past for a little bit too long. And piecing this all together, like I said, in the last 20, 30 years, there's been a big wave of healing, of go back to your past to heal, a lot of self-development, a lot of mindset, go back to your past, work it out, heal it, make it better, heal the trauma of the past, heal the thing. And yes, it has its point. But there will come a point where you can no longer do this, right? Where you can no longer keep going back to heal the wounds, where you can no longer go back to keep working out the inadequacies, where you can no longer keep going back with that same issue again and again and again and again. There comes the point where you have to flip everything around and decide, well, this is who I am in the now. This has been my life story. I accept it. I accept who I am, right? I know that there have been some things lacking. I know there are some things that I still need to learn and become, but I accept all this all in the now, and I choose to start moving forward in my life and creating my life, recreating my family, recreating what I want, recreating my desires. And we have to come to this point of flip, okay? We really do, because remember, I've been a healer and I've been a teacher for over a decade. And I've been teaching people, go back into their past, right? And the whole industry is go back into your past. And many of yous, right? You can go on, and trust me, you can go on and heal your past forever. It's infinite. Your subconscious links into the past infinitely. You can go back, and there's going to be an infinite amount of stuff that you need to heal in the generational stuff within you, the generational trauma, the generational beliefs. It goes on forever. Trust me. There are a million billion past lives you can jump into to go and heal, to work out who you are, right? There is a lot of stuff in the collective consciousness that you can go into, heal and heal and heal. And I have tripped through the universe, healing a lot of stuff of the past, right? And it's opened up my consciousness. It's made me be aware of humanity, and it's made me be aware of a lot of different things. And it's also helped open up my intuition so I can pinpoint things in other people, and it's served its place. But there will come the time where you can't keep doing that, because it's going to slow you down. Now, sorry. The problem is that if we've been on this trip going into the past for too long, our brain, our nervous system, our neural pathways get wired to keep going into the past to look for things. And so every time that you want to step into your future or create your future, right? So in that, I'm meaning, like I want to create a course, I want to create a book, or I know that I need to move countries, or I know that I need to go out and find that soulmate and go for some dates. Like we want to go out to create our life, right? What tends to happen is instead of us going, I know what I need to do, right? Because we all have that feeling of I know what I need to do to make my life. But then you get all this other stuff that comes up because you've been so conditioned to heal and so programmed to heal on some level that you go, I can't do that because, right, of my family stuff, or because I've got low self-worth, or because I'm still carrying the trauma of a heartbreak that happened when I was in an abusive relationship. I can't do it. I can't. And then I've got to go back to heal it again. And then we go on the journey of healing and making that all right so that we can come back and recreate. And if we keep doing this for too long, right, we're never going to get anywhere. And so for some of you, you might be feeling like, particularly if you have been on the healing journey, and remember, right, it's almost like it's out there a lot. You're going to get little memes flashing up. Heal this, heal that. You've got trauma here. You've got to heal this. This is the mindset you should be in. This is, it's flashing up everywhere around us all the time. And it's like, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. This is why I can't have things, because there's something wrong with me. I better get back and heal my past to work it all out so that I can be normal and fine, right? But that journey is infinite. It will never end. It will never end. So I want to give you permission, gorgeous beings. I want to give you permission to let that go. That journey of self-healing has to go, right? And I'm not saying that there won't be points in your life, in your future, where you have to heal and it will slow you down unless you heal. Yeah. But it's not coming from the point of, there's something wrong with me, I have to heal. It's more like, I know I need to create, and this thing's holding me back, so I'm going to shift it so I can move forward in my creations. And you need to give yourself permission to start playing a new game. Instead of going into yourself to work yourself out and find your soul, it's like, let's flip this around and let's go out into the world to find our souls. Because trust me, it is a much more interesting, more joyous, more manifesting ability. That doesn't make sense. A space where we can manifest from more. It's a place where we can find our soul family, where we can get those heart connections again, right? Instead of being on that lonely healer path trying to get it from the angels or whatever, right? We've got to go out, because not only do you need to create a life from the depths of your soul, as in your soul leads you to create all this, but the world needs you, right? Society needs you. Your soul family needs you. Life needs your creations. You know, we can't be stuck in this introverted pattern for too long. You will get sad, you'll get depressed, trust me, you'll get lonely, you'll get to the point of nothing's working in my life, right? Why has everyone else got it except for me? Because you haven't truly begun the creation journey. And so I want to use this live, right, to give you the awareness, the feeling, the knowing, the permission, and you need to give it to yourself. I'm just opening up a gateway here for you, right? Give yourself the permission to start stepping forward into this new place. And so I want to just begin, if you're ready for this. I love talking and doing kind of like downloads and activations and awakenings all at the same time. So if you're up for this, I want you to just come with me on this journey and feel like, just get centered. Maybe you want to breathe, just be here with me, be here with yourself in the now, because everything shifts in the now, right? That's why I speak to people, they're like, I've got to go into my past life to heal this. I'm like, no, it's happening in the now. Yeah, you can get some codes and understandings and teachings from your past life, but it's happening here in the now, right? Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I want you to actually, before I even begin the activation, let me just tell you this one other little thing that's super important to understand. This is the journey of how I understand it. We go back self-healing, right? And we all go on a self-healing path. I'm not saying we don't ever need to go on a self-healing path. Trust me, I needed to do it to save my life, right? We go on a self-healing path to find ourselves, to find our authentic self, to work out who we are and who we're not, to let go of the mother stuff and the conditioning so that we arrive at our authentic self. So self-healing allows us to arrive at self-discovery, right? This is who I am. That's a beautiful point. This is who I am. This is that point of the now, right? Past, I have to self-heal to work myself out. Self-discovery, this is who I am. This is my authentic self. This is how I feel. This is what I like. This is like how I like to dress. This is what I like to listen to. This is me. I self-discover. This is what I want to create. And then self-discovery will always lead to co-creation, right? Because that sense of self, once you recognize it, needs to come out and blossom into the world and create, right? It needs to create. So past, present, future. So I hope you're with me on all of this. Give me some, if you're getting what I'm trying to say, let me know with some thumbs up. I don't know how Instagram works, but you're getting what I'm saying, right? So what I'd like you to do is let's do some shifting here, some activations. I want you to feel yourself in present time now. And trust me, you've discovered yourself quite a lot, right? Hello, gorgeous being. Hello. You have probably discovered all the beautiful things that you like, Okay, not everything's perfect. Nothing ever will be perfect, but you've discovered yourself. You've worked out what you like, what you don't like, you've worked it out. You've arrived. And this is a beautiful place to sit in the now with. And I just want you to have a little bit of gratitude, maybe a big lot of gratitude. Hey, you can never have enough of this is who I am. I have arrived. Arrival is a huge thing. We don't often give ourselves the recognition or the permission that we've arrived. You've arrived out of your childhood. You've arrived out of the chaotic confusion of teenage years, maybe, and those 20s, and you've arrived, those 30s, 40s, whatever it is for you, you've arrived. And just notice that you've arrived. And you've arrived, trust me, in the now, with a lot of strength, with a lot of virtues, with a lot of values. You've arrived in the now with a lot of courage, intelligence, cleverness. You've arrived in the now with all your beautiful sensuality and knowingness and your healing and intuitive abilities, you've arrived. You've arrived with what even food you like and music you enjoy listening to. You've arrived. So I just want you to take a few deep breaths, maybe place your hands on your heart or wherever, and just recognize that you've arrived. You're here. And just let your whole nervous system calm down. And as you breathe and you center yourself in the now, I want you to just give yourself some love. Love on all the parts of you that are still arriving. Love on all the parts of you that are still growing. Love on all the parts of you that are still becoming more intelligent and wiser. And love on all those parts of you that are still learning to do embodiment and incarnation. And that journey will never end. We're constantly growing and evolving. So I also want you to love on all those parts of you that are evolving. So yes, you've arrived, and yes, you're still evolving. And just love on all these parts of you. And I think that is a very key awareness to recognize that you're not healing anymore, you're evolving, right? So that takes the pressure off to fix, to go back and work out the thing that's not working, or that one limiting belief that you find that will change everything, right? You're evolving. You're an evolving human being that's arriving. You arrive and you evolve. You evolve and you arrive, and you become enlightened and you work out who you are, and you become more authentic in yourself, right? So can we just flick the switch that you are no longer healing, but you are evolving. And I just want you to give yourself a big shake and just let go of all the deep wounds, the victim. Let go of all the parts of you that have been trained to heal and heal and heal and heal and heal and heal and heal. And let's instead reconfigure your being, your body, your neural pathways, your nervous system to evolve in the present time now. And so all that energy that you've been using, right, to go back and heal, can we call it all back to you in the present time now? Can we call all those parts of you which are still stuck in trying to heal the inner child, right? Trying to heal the birth trauma wound, trying to heal the teenage self-worth stuff. Can we call all those parts of you back to the present time now? And let's just teach you that you're constantly evolving in the present time now to return back to your authentic self. And I'm not saying that you won't go into the past, because we flick into the past to recognize things, to understand things. But it's the ability for you to flick back into the present time now to evolve and move forward. Okay, what can happen with people is we go back and then we spend a long time trying to work out what it is that needs to heal, what it is that needs to shift, instead of actually going, that's the point that is an issue, right? I'm going to come back to my present time now and evolve out of it. And so I want to give you the teachings, the activations, the codings that you can heal and transform and evolve in a split second, right? Let's catch up now to a new higher 5D, whatever higher dimensional way of healing, which speeds up, right? We've been trained for so long that it has to go back. We have to dig up stuff. We have to heal this. Then we have to go find. No, let's just make it quicker, because you don't have time for that anymore, right? We don't have time for that anymore. The world doesn't have time for that anymore. There are some things that you, gorgeous being, need to become to create. You could even be in that creation mode, giving a creation to someone else that helps change the planet, right? We've got to quicken up now. We've got to fasten up. So can we let go of the part of you that is wallowing, or is traumatized by the past, or is being slowed down by having to heal the past? And can we release and free you from all those teachings, right? which were valid. Those teachings were valid. Those healing teachings were valid in the 1980s and the 1990s and the 2000s, but now we're in 2200, right? Can we just let them all go and help you to quicken up? Quickening, soul fire, moving forward. Amazing. So just allowing yourself to come into present time, that place where you can evolve and arrive and transform things instantly. Go back to the past, recognize, come back and step forward quickly to move into creation mode. So just calling all your energy back to you. And the other big wound we carry, and it could be a trauma wound, it could be a spiritual wound, it could be a whatever wound. It's the wound of there is something wrong with me. And like I said, right, it flashes up everywhere on social media, right? Because that's how marketing works on some level. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me, right? However, it gets put to you. And then we are constantly in this process of things are happening in my life because there's something wrong with me. So I want you to close your eyes and be interesting if you can write that into the chat as well. Where is this deep feeling of there is something wrong with me? There's something wrong with me that I can't move forward, or there's something wrong with me that I can't create, or there's something wrong with me that I can't stand in my truth, or there's something wrong with me that I can't be strong in my sense of self. And if you could just see if you can locate that in your being, in your body. And I'd be really interesting to see where people are holding that feeling. For me, I definitely hold some of that in my head, and a lot of my thought patterns go into I'm thinking, "Oh, I want to do this." And then there's like a part of me that goes, all the thought patterns go into, "Oh, no, there's something wrong with me. I can't." Right. So I actually find it more in my head, but you might find it in your heart. You might find it in the depths of your solar plexus or in your womb space. Where is this feeling? I would love to know. Let me know in the chat, just so that I can have a feel of everybody. So, Midreya, I can't say your name, but I'm feeling your heart. She's feeling it in her head, her heart, her wombs. Annika's feeling it in her spine. Nicola, hi Nicola, is in the heart. It's like there's something wrong with me that I cannot be loved. Yeah, that's a big one. Ella is feeling it in her heart. Roxanne is on the left side of her body, disconnected to my power. Beautiful. Nell is in her heart, throat, and head. Wow, they're quite big centers. Adameska is in head, throat, and heart, and the origin of body is shaming in childhood. Good that you recognize that. In the heart, Jasna is in the stomach. Jonas is in the head and the back. With some beautiful familiar faces here. Hello. Solar plexus for Lorania. So I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing people's names wrong. Feels like it's everywhere. Anna's womb, head, and anal canal. Go figure that. Amazing. Good. Hold on to that. That's interesting. K, left side of womb space, ovaries perhaps. Michelle halfway for me. We've got in the sacral chakra for Miller. Shazika in the lungs, stomach, head, legs. Anita is like crying, right? Being so crazy, like having a breakdown in my heart. Good people, hold on to this. Like keep feeling into it. The more you feel this point, like there's something wrong with you, the more you're going to embody it, which means that we're going to start to bring it up to the surface to shift it and heal it. Like, don't be afraid of it, right? If you start crying, go with it. If you start like feeling terrorized, know that you can hold yourself safe in it all, but it's important for it to start to come up. So please keep connecting to it. You might want to breathe into it to let it have more of its presence in your body. We've got stomach, head, legs, throat. Crying right now. It's been so crazy. Like, okay, got that one. Joanna's underneath the skin. Joke, it's in the solar plexus. It's in the throat. Okay, amazing. Hathika's in the stomach, head, and legs. Okay, hold on to this. This is obviously a very, very big pattern. There's something wrong with me, which means it's kind of creating like this, you know, when I do healings or intuitive readings with people, I like to call it like the black hole, you know, like the black hole in the universe where everything just collapses into it, like it's got its own gravity and everything gets pulled into it and collapses into it. And, you know, I find often these points in people's bodies, and I call them like black holes. I've got no other word to describe it, where it's this one feeling or one emotion, usually a lower emotion, lower feeling, lower belief system, that's obviously been created by certain experiences and memories, but it creates this gravitational pull. It's so intense in its energy that it creates a gravitational pull in the body. So everything collapses into it. So even if you have a higher thought, even if you have this feeling like you want to create, it all just collapses into it, right? So we want to kind of recognize that. And so even if you're trying to move forward and create, we can like get pulled into this point. So out of curiosity, what percentage out of 100 does this feeling of there's something wrong with me, like go to that point in your body, what percentage does it have a gravitational pull? Does it have like, is it like 100%? Everything's collapsing into you? Does it have like a 50% gravitational pull? 35, 65? It's really good. The more that we can define the blocks, the limitations in our body, which is why I teach embodiment, right? And my embodiment coaching certification. The more we can define it, the more we can understand, the more we can bring it up to the more we can shift it and collapse it really quickly. Okay. Annika's got 30. Katja's definitely feeling that. Hi, Sonia. Okay. Milla's got 100%. Katna 90. Roxanne 100. Jonas is 35%. Anna, 50%, but in the anal canal, 80%. I'm loving that you're really connecting to your anus there. It's a part of our body we don't connect to enough, I think. Elizabeth, 63, very specific number given. Witchy FM, it's more like a wave. Yeah, it's good to identify. It might have like a collapsing, might have a wave, it might have like a energy to it. Tiana, move more to be shared. The jaw, 30, 70 now. Okay, good. Joke is 40, Joanna, 90. Nicola is 89%. Amazing. Cool. We've got this, right? So you're getting the thing, right? So we're trying to move forward to create in our lives. Michelle's got 100%. And then we've got this collapsing identity that there's something wrong with me, right? I'm getting 74%. So it's actually a very big issue within me. Oh, hi, Lisa, Witchy FM. Of course it's Witchy FM. Of course it's Lisa. Big kisses. Um, now I've felt you energetically, Lisa. I've just lost my thoughts. Hang on one moment. What have we got here? 50%. All right. Okay. Right. So you can see if it's got such a big gravitational pull. And like I said, I've got 74% in my one, right? And obviously, there's something wrong with me is a very big pattern in humans, right? We've all got it, right? We've got a big collective pattern in humans, right? This pattern, there's something wrong with me. We all share it on some level, right? We all go around with it. I think it's part of our orphan wound, but we won't talk about the orphan wound right now. That's a whole other topic. But it's a big pattern that we all carry. And this is why we can't move forward and create. This is why we have difficulties incarnating, because we want to incarnate. The more we incarnate our soul, the more we then go, the incarnation continues until we're incarnating into all areas of our life. We're creating all areas of our life. But if we've got this pattern, there's something wrong with me, we stop that whole process. We even stop the whole process of recognizing and connecting to that part of us, our soul, that is damn amazing and can do anything, right? Because we've got this big gravitational pull into some other identity. So hang with me, gorgeous, beautiful beings. I want you to connect to this part of you of there's something wrong with me. Feel where it is in your body. Feel the gravitational pull. And what it will do is it will pull you into a lower vibrational identity. Now, you could call that part of you a lower vibrational self-identity, a lower vibrational ego identity, but whatever it is, it's going to stop you from moving forward. So if I follow that, if I track energy, I love tracking energy, by the way, I go into a part of my identity, right, which is, I can't do this. It's not going to work for me. It's all going to fail. I might as well just start dying now. So it's got a real almost like, it's just better I just give up and die, right? And I do struggle with that. I do struggle with that part of me. I know I can seem like I'm really active doing a lot of things, but there is a part of me that's like, what's the point? What's the point of me doing any of my work? Who actually really cares? There's a lot of other people doing it. And I have to move through that identity, that struggle quite a lot. It slows me down. So I'm very grateful that I'm able to heal this with you together, right? So see if you can fall into that identity that this thing is pulling you into, and then we're going to shift it out. And yeah, if you've got any insights about what that is, you can write it into the chat. Okay. Alrighty. So just hold on to this part of you that you're probably going into right now. And we're going to start to swap it. I want you to feel where this pattern is. You can, if you want to, you can send in a beautiful vortex of light to start breaking it up and shifting it. But ultimately, what I want you to do is I want you to swap this pattern with your soul, with your higher self. So you can either witness, visualize, intend, whatever it is, that wherever this pattern is, if I can't do it, I want you to feel all your gorgeous, electric, beautiful soul light coming down to replace this pattern. Because this pattern has just been formed because you, for whatever reason, did not embody your soul or your higher self early enough in your life, right? Early enough in your life. And the reason why we don't embody our soul and incarnate our soul and become our soul early enough in our life usually is because we weren't loved enough as children. That's a whole other topic of conversation. But I want you to just simply let this pattern break down. You can do some, might want to release it. Like for me, I feel like I want to like untangle it with all the neural pathways in my brain with my hands. You might want to untangle it. You might want to pull it out. You might want to breathe through that block. You might want to shake it out, whatever works for you. You might want to visualize it breaking up. But ultimately, whatever you need to do to shift that, I also want you to allow your soul, your higher self to descend, to transcend, to come into your being and take over that place. And what happens is we get so used to being operating from our wounds, I can't do this, as opposed to operating from our soul force. So can we teach you what it feels like to operate from your soul force as opposed to the wound of nothing works for me? What it feels like to hear, feel, listen, sense your soul force to help you move forward in your life? Can we teach you what it feels like to let all the neural pathways or the energy pathways or the entire nervous system reconfigure to the brilliance of your soul that I can? And can we just rewire your whole system with the energy of I can? Now, will come in the form of many ways. Can be I can, and you just go do it. Can just be the feeling of like, I've got this. I've got enough intelligence and wisdom in my being to do this, right? Whatever it is you want to create. Or I can be, oh my God, I know I don't quite have the skills, but I'm resourceful enough to find the place which is going to support me so that I can, right? So just let everything remove and breathe in. You might feel some very bright energy coming into your being as you move into the soul force, higher self. They're the same thing to me, really, energetically. Oh, I can. I am and I can. I am and I can and I create. And it requires you to really recognize that you are enough. You have everything you possibly need to create. And if you don't have it, then you're resourceful enough to go find whatever it is that you need, right? Whether it's a person or a skill or whatever to make it happen. But I can. And so as we let this reconfigure, so take some more breaths, you might want to move your body. I love sometimes rotating new energy through my being. I'm very big into embodiment, so whatever works for you. But you should feel more light coming through your system and this energy of I can. And when that happens, you're going to start to feel your energy field open up into this space of I can, and then I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to start living life, incarnating forward into reality. I can create, I can move, I can use all that healing energy I used before and shift it, transform it, reuse it to create my life. So I invite your whole system, your whole being, to start to use your system to create your life. So letting whatever codes or teachings or downloads come into your activations so that you can step forward and create your life. And it's a very different energy. And creation, right? Could be all sorts. Could be being more creative with your cooking. I mean, it's all part of you practicing your creation energy. Sometimes we get hyper focused that creation can only be one thing, whether it's your business or a big piece of art or I don't know, whatever. But the invitation is to get creative in all areas of your life, because that way you're practicing your creativeness, right? And it can be, right, what can I cook for dinner that's more creative, right? You might be, like, what else can I do that makes it more creative? How can I dress in a slightly more creative way that I've never dressed before? How can I go out and interact with people in the cafe in a more creative way? How can I, So the invitation to begin with is just to exercise your creation powers in little and big and fun ways throughout your life. And what that's going to do is it's going to reteach your brain and your neural pathways not to be stagnant and not to keep sitting in that habitual way of living, right? Because if we live in that habitual way of living, which is often linked to the past, right, we get stuck, you know? But if we start to move into the space of becoming more creative in all these different ways, we open up our capacity to heal and feel our soul, but we also open up our capacity to feel our soul desiring things, to feel our inspirations start to flow, right? And then the more we practice that, the more our channels start to open up, the more bigger ideas are going to come to us, the more bigger creations that we need to evolve are going to come to us. But it really requires you to open up that creative habits, right? Creative habits. And, it's challenging, right? It's a new way of challenging yourself in a much more fun, more interesting, more interesting way to live. I mean, who wants to do I'm creative mantras, right? No, go and create. Go find more fun, interesting ways to create. It could be like, oh, tonight I'm just going to go into the shower and give myself a breast massage. Like, how my friend says to me, I've got this beautiful friend, and her thing is like, how can I make this an 11? How can I turn this experience from a 10 out of a 10 experience to an 11 out of 10 experience? And it could be just that little thing that you add, right, to the thing to make it an 11 experience. So if you've got anything, write it into the chat, ways that you can make your life more creative just to inspire us. Please do. It could be changing the furniture in your house, like just changing it around. You've had furniture in one place for too long. Maybe you've got boring curtains. Go change just change, create, and eventually the creative energy will start to flow. We can and new things will start to come to you. You'll open yourself up to new life, right? You'll interact with life in a different way. You'll meet new people because you're just buzzing with more life. So please recognize that there's going to come a point where you have to start creating, and the best way is just to start creating now, right? Not waiting for that big one mega idea of this is what I have to create and then you go do it. No, just begin it now, and it's going to open up all the pathways. Maybe you've been doing yoga the same way forever. I don't know, do it backwards. Do your routine backwards and do something different. Go put heavy metal music on while you're doing yoga, right? Just get a different stimulus experience that shifts and changes things. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's necessary to begin the journey. So, gorgeous people, that kind of wraps it up. I hope you got a lot out of today's little live activation energy clearing. For those that don't know me, I am an energy healer. I'm a teacher. I do some amazing embodiment coaching certification and goddess work. So much for you. And I've got coming up, Katja saying that was super awesome. Thank you picking this topic. I totally feel empty, yet the pool is fully gone. Yeah, amazing. And we want that pull going forward, right? We want to be pulled into our present. We want to be pulled into our future. We want to be pulled to create, right? We want to be pulled to create. Just sorry, because of you, my daughter started to play guitar. That's beautiful. Amazing. Beautiful, beautiful. So, gorgeous people, if you want to continue this journey, I've got an Abundance Now meditation coming up next weekend on Friday, on Saturday, somewhere like that. No, next Wednesday. Come for that. And I've got a very big creating abundance intensive. It's a massive vortex of creating abundance, right? Because this is the problem. We need to learn to create abundance. None of us are born that much with abundance. I grew up on social welfare, but I created my own abundance. And so I've got a 30-day vortex. And the idea is we do a masterclass every single day over 30 days. And I keep adding new masterclasses every year into it. And once you're in the program, you're in. So in 10 years' time, as I'm adding more classes, you're going to keep upgrading along with me. It's one of my community programs. It's starting at the end of November. We've got an early bird. Go check it out. It's going to unlock you. I mean, it will. Oh, your subconscious is going to unlock so much that you will definitely be starting to create abundance in your life. So I look forward to taking you on that journey. Look around for that. There'll be things and posts going on over the next month or so as I welcome people into the program. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for hanging out. I feel quite high now. I think my serotonin levels have now increased because I've embodying all my creation energy. But please, 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 if you're getting caught in the pool of healing, come back to the present, arrive in the now, embody your soul force that you can, and then make the choice, what do I need to create in my life now? Right? What can I do to create? And like I said, it could be very small things, but it can shift a lot. And the more you begin creating in all areas of your life, the more your channels, your connection to your soul desires will become more active because you're training that part of you to exist more. And as you train it to exist more, you're going to be able to handle a higher voltage of your soul, right? Your soul force, your creation energy, so that when bigger ideas come down, you can handle it, you can execute it, right? Because that's what we're needing people to do. Amazing. So good to be with you all. I will endeavor to do more of these lives more often. I've been going through a bit of a journey myself on the other end with my daughter. We've been having a very wonderfully intense time with hospitals. And even this week, she was vomiting at school. And I'm like, oh God. And I had to take, and she had to have 2 days off. But it's just, she's coming back to me. Like there's a part of her wanting to reconnect with me, unfortunately through illness. But her soul's like, come on, mom, we've got stuff to do together. I'm going to rework our relationship together. So I've been spending a lot of time with her. And that's been very important to me and to her as well. People, I love you. So good to be with you. Let's stay connected. Come on a journey into creating abundance. There is a extra £200 coupon off the early bird price, super duper early bird, if you're wanting to do that before, I think next Tuesday. So you can email, message, DM, get curious about it, but it's a beautiful program. Creating Abundance Intensive. I see you on the other side. So much love. I'm feeling all the love that's being sent. I can see it all in the chat. And so good to see so many familiar faces and people. Big love. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Good afternoon. Hey, wherever you are. It's really hard to turn off from these things because I feel like we build up such an energetic connection, but I'm going to switch this off. And I'm going to sit for a couple of minutes in silence. So if you still want to connect that way, you can. We are all telepathic, energetic beings at the end of the day. And we can connect in many other ways. Bye.